Black crime in America is on the rise. It has been since the civil rights movement. We were all getting along and prospering and yeah, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, civil rights come and the free at last, free at last. Next thing you know, we can't put a cap on it because racism. Oh no, everyone's racist if they call out this behavior. Now, there have been some black advocates who have said, well, not my people. We've been going to church and we're going to make our people better. We're going to improve our situation through means of our own. A lot of the times, though, you will see people blaming whites for their issues. Whether they're black or Asian or Indian, etc., etc., they will blame whites for their shortcomings. What I'm advocating for here with this racial accountability is that our own people care for our own people. Our own people build each other up. And you might say, well, why does it have to be your own race? Why does that even matter, Adam? Why? It just so happens that we understand our own people the best.
People think Black Americans commit more crimes, but the truth is that Black Americans are convicted of more crimes. You might hear someone say that Black Americans are exonerated more than any other race, which is true, but using that fact to argue against conviction disparities only highlights the problem even more. Think about it. Being eventually exonerated doesn't take into account the fact that you were arrested in the first place, having to endure mistreatment, humiliation, potential abuse from the arresting officers. Then you got processed and maybe you spent an hour in jail, maybe a night, a weekend, maybe months, years, or decades. Being exonerated doesn't erase what amounts to anywhere between a serious inconvenience and having your entire life turned upside down. And for what? Racism.
Honestly, there is nothing Black Americans will never see. And for the guy that said why every single thing they have to blame them is, a lot of white folks have literally come here as well to blame themselves that they have finally destroyed America, that they have finally put someone that has literally turned them back instead of going front. So if you're coming here to say Black people commit more crimes or Black people are the problem of America, I think, sir, you should go and do your study very well, because honestly, you should know that if a particular or every single race keep targeting or pointing towards a particular race, something is wrong somewhere. And these are the kind of few white folks that misinterpret a lot of things, send a lot of signal out there that made a lot of people that are supposed to know the truth not know the truth. Imagine just a novice coming across this kind of video and the person will be like, oh yeah, that's true. Black Americans have always been oppressing white people, blah, blah, blah. Right from the days of John the Baptist, Black Americans are the ones that have gone through segregation, Jim Crow, redlining. So name what they have literally not gone through in the hands of white people. And give me one simple good reason why Black American or every other race will literally not be calling white folks at every single point there. Because even as I am here in Africa, I will still keep calling white folks that you people were the cause of our problem. Yes, you people were the cause of our problem. See, the earlier we learn to own up to our chest and accept where we know that we are faulty and then try to navigate and move forward, the better for us. And this is the mindset that I feel like the Orange Man has literally passed down to some of you that can literally not stop supporting whether you're seeing evil. And that's very bad. But welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to those of you that are always coming, watching my videos, subscribing, joining my, dropping super thanks, joining membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Let's go right into this video because I have another deep analysis of people that commit more crimes so that we can understand either is white or black. Let's go, guys.
Crime in America is on the rise. It has been since the civil rights movement. We were all getting along and prospering and yeah, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, civil rights come and the free at last, free at last. Next.
You heard what he said? The time where white people was abusing everybody was the time that everybody was getting along. If you inherently believe that black people are more violent than anybody else, then you must not have seen the U.S. statistics, because over 60% of the inmates in prison are white. And y'all like to talk about everything, but not touching those children. Y'all talk about everything except touching those children. And it's crazy because the child kidnapping, the child videos, the child assault, it's one group that's extremely higher than everybody else. Weird. The truth is, a lot of white men are feeling oppressed in America because equality feels like oppression to them. They want to be on top. And if they could go back to the days where they can take somebody's life in the middle of the street and nothing happens, then they would. Because guess what? Even our president said it. That he could shoot somebody in the street and probably lose no votes for it. Because that is a cultural thing for them. They miss the days of violence when they can hurt people and there will be no repercussions. Other people receiving rights in this country feels like their rights is being stripped away.
Okay, y'all, I got a little time today. So like Waka Flocka said, oh, let's do it. They said black people commit the most crimes, and this FBI chart says something completely different. Shall we go through each line? So for Schmurder, we beat them, y'all. We beat them, but we also need to remember that 60% of the crimes black people are arrested and convicted for gets overturned for a wrongful conviction. Shall we go to the next line? Taking it. Yeah, y'all see that number? Yeah, 11,000 to 4,000. Okay. Stealing. Okay, we got them. Aggravated assault. Major difference. That is 169,000 to 91,000. Oh. Burglary. 81,000 to 34,000. Larceny. Theft. 300 and something thousand to 100. Okay. Motor vehicles. Y'all, they beat us in motor vehicles. I'm surprised because I'm from North where they take cars. I'm surprised at that one. Okay, let's keep going. A little firebug. They beat us. Yep. The most violent. They won. Property crime. They won. More than double. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is only the first page, y'all. There's still 2 more pages. Let me know if y'all want me to go over the next 2 pages, because I didn't even fully go over this full page, and it already shows that they commit the most crime. So why do they keep lying? They don't know how to go to the FBI website and find these things. But we the dumb ones.
Every time I talk about black people talk back to me as if I'm not black. And I don't really get where that comes from. Can black people not criticize black people anymore? Is that illegal? We just supposed to let black people do whatever we want to do and never, ever, ever hold any one of us accountable. That's what we're supposed to do. Now all of a sudden, I'm not black. Now all of a sudden, what? I remember when I was on Twitter talking about how black people love Jamaica, and Jamaica has just really like we like this. Black people, Jamaican people, like black Americans and Jamaican people, like it's just like, yeah, like I fuck with y'all, like people was like, if you don't get your bum clot, pussy clot, patois, bitch ass, motherfucking ass back to Jamaica, bitch, get the fuck out of here, bitch. And I was like, whoa, first of all, I'm not even Jamaican, of no Caribbean descent whatsoever, actually. Like, guys, please, I'm one of you. The other day I saw someone making fun of these Habesha braids called albaso, I believe that's how it's pronounced, or albaso, and they were like, oh, she played in her head. And I knew that this was coming from a black person who was not familiar with the style, and had not seen it before. And I was like, how about we just stop talking about other people's cultures and traditions that we don't understand? Everybody like, if you don't take your motherfucking African ass back to Africa, bitch. Mind you, I'm black American. Like when did it get that deep? Why can't I just say, hey guys, let's be a little bit more educated, a little bit more cultured? Why does my culture all of a sudden have to change because I understand or am educated about someone else's culture? I don't... Y'all not ready for this.
According to Racist White America,
If a black person kills another black person, they were both wrong. The one who did the killing is a murderer. The one who was killed was probably a drug dealer who deserved it. If a white person kills a black person, it's justified. No matter how it went down, the white person was right and the black person was wrong. If a black person kills a white person, we have to crucify the black person. And the white person must get recognition and justice, even though they did get justice swiftly. And if a white person kills a white person, you don't hear anything. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. In America, white people just don't kill each other.
That black people have to earn their way out of racism is completely backwards. So I understand you as saying that if, as the result of the actions of some people, a group has acquired the reputation for harming other people, then the negative attitudes and treatment the entire group receives is understandable and justified. And what's more, if that group wants those negative attitudes and treatments to change, they have to do better. I highly suggest that you re-examine this belief in light of the fact that at the point at which Europeans labeled black people black, and by extension labeled themselves white, they are the ones who proceeded to loot, kill, and grape their way around 84% of the world for centuries. Because I don't think you feel that it would justify if people of the global majority were to treat white people the way that white people have treated black people, and maybe consider yourself lucky that we don't. Now, with respect to these black crime rates that people like you so love to inflate, if racism were to cease to exist today, those crime rates would automatically and instantly drop, because we wouldn't have innocent black people being arrested and incarcerated for nothing, and we wouldn't have black people being arrested and incarcerated for infractions that white people get away with all the time. But also, if you systematically oppress a group of people for centuries, it will create negative behaviors, and it shows the infinite grace of black people that it hasn't created more. And what's more, the people that it harms the most are black people themselves. So if you want these crime rates to drop, it is racism that has to cease to exist first.
There was a disappointing amount of confusion on my last video about why saying this about Black Americans is racist, so let's talk about it. If you say Black Americans commit more crimes without acknowledging that our society has deeply ingrained in white-formed systems that protect white Americans from the same levels of poverty, unemployment, food insecurity, and other causal factors of criminality, you are being a racist. If you say Black Americans commit more crimes while excluding white-collar crimes and the most likely perpetrators of those, you are being a racist. If you say Black Americans commit more crimes without discussing proven racial disparities in policing, arrests, and sentencing, you are being a racist. Facts require context. Statistics do not exist in a vacuum. And if you treat statistics on race as if they do, you are making race the sole factor for consideration, and you are
Every single time I see a video that attempts to address the overrepresentation of Black Americans inside of the U.S. prison population, I can already expect for it to be riddled with inaccuracies or outright lies, or at best, a misrepresentation that does not include environmental factors, poverty rates, social factors that would contribute to these crime rates. So rather than engaging with people who are committed to misrepresenting the truth, I decided I was just going to share some actual statistics. Starting with routine traffic stops, Black Americans represent 6.2% of all searches conducted during these routine stops, whereas white Americans represent 3.6%, even though police officers are significantly less likely to find illegal items or weapons amongst Black drivers. Additionally, Black and white Americans use illicit materials, I don't think I can say the word on TikTok, sorry, at the same rate, but Black people account for 1 in 4 arrests for illicit material violations. Black people are also more likely to be wrongfully convicted of a crime, more likely to be targets of police misconduct, and more likely to receive a longer sentence for crimes that they do commit. In addition to that, Black people represented 56% of all death sentence exonerees and 55% of all wrongful convictions that resulted in life imprisonment. Continuing with exonerations, for all individuals who spent 40 years or more of their life behind bars and were later exonerated, 80% of those people were Black. There is no direct correlation between your race and your likelihood of committing a crime. There are, however, strong correlations between your socioeconomic status and things like poverty levels and inequality that do account for higher rates in crime. So before you blame a demographic for their representation in the prison population, perhaps you should look into why.
So we're back at this again. So if we care about statistics I'm going to bring up two different statistics. Black Americans have some of the lowest average wages out of any other racial group in the United States. That is directly tied to the history of oppression of black people in the United States, specifically. That's number one. Number two is exonerations. Okay? Black people, specifically black men, are the number one most falsely arrested group of people in the United States. They are also the number one most acquitted group of people in the United States. Black men. So we have a combination, number one, of police prejudice, of prejudice within the justice system, of convicting black men who also get more severe punishments for crimes than their white counterparts, as well as being exonerated more than any other racial group, because again, there is prejudice against black men in the justice system and by policing. Okay, so number two is crime in general, especially violent and petty crime, is infinitely higher in poor communities. This goes for Hispanic, this goes for white, this goes for Asian, this goes for black. Poor people commit more crime. Why? Because financial stress destroys people. Okay, the effect that stress has on our psyche, on our ability to reason, is insane, insurmountable. There are tons of psychiatric studies on what stress does, on what being poor and worrying about money all the time and having to work all the time does to people. You want to address violent crime in the United States? Number one, we have to help poor people. The reason other first world countries don't have the same crime rates that we do is because they have better social safety nets. Not perfect, but they're better. The safest countries in the world, most of the time, have better social safety nets for poor people. That's just a fact. Okay? Because you can't just treat poor people like shits, right? It's the same reason that the United States has some of the highest reoffending rate for crime in the world. It's because we treat our prisoners like animals. We do not treat poor people or homeless people or people who are convicted for like petty crime as human. We treat them as animals. The conditions in prisons in the United States should be human rights violations. Okay? You should not be going to... The purpose of prison, by the way, is punishment and reform. Whether you like it or not, that's the point of the justice system. It is punishment, serving your sentence, but reform at the same time. You do not want to have people constantly offending and committing crime. At the end of the day, the purpose needs to be reforming people so that they can be reintroduced back in society and have a positive effect on it. That's the point. That's the whole point. And so when we have a system that is only designed to do one thing, which is to punish, and not the other thing, which is reform, which many other first world countries have done infinitely better than we have, hence the calls for years now for prison reform that many people don't actually understand because they don't take the time to actually research and understand these topics. Rather, they want to be reactionary, just go, these stupid liberals want to give prisoners rights. They want to give criminals rights. Can you believe that? It's like, no. We understand they're criminals. We understand the punishment aspect. But if people are just spending their entire lives going in and out just committing crimes, that's bad for society. Right? That's a lot of money we have to spend. That's why we have private prisons who get to, for profit, treat human beings like animals. When you treat, right? When you treat somebody like an animal and then they start acting like an animal, forgive my language there, where's the surprise? Right? When you treat people like criminals, when you treat them like they're not human beings, and then they act like that, why are you shocked? Okay? You also have to address, again, the systemic oppression of black people. Okay? Black people did have many businesses, right? You ever hear about what happened to Black Wall Street? You ever hear about redlining? Do you know why South Georgia has a higher black population than North Georgia, for example? Why like public transit in Atlanta doesn't really go to black neighborhoods? Why it doesn't extend further into North Georgia to make access to the city and transportation around the state easier? Do you know about the historical discrimination of banks against black renters, black homeowners, black mortgages, black business loans? Do you know anything about that? Black credit lines? For decades, upon decades, the United States has done everything to put black people down. That is the reason why black people on average have the lowest wages compared to every other group in the United States. It is not because there is something inherently different about black people, because then when you look at African immigrants, they're making a lot more money. So obviously it's not just them being black. Obviously there must have been a historical understanding from the slaves that were brought here to their children, a system built upon oppressing that group specifically. You want to address these problems? Start reading some books. Start educating yourself. Start getting organized. And start realizing that the system is against a very specific group of people. It is not bad to talk about these things. It is only bad to be ignorant of them further once you have been known, once you have been informed.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you guys for literally watching all of that video. And you guys can also see from one of the lists where we have a black woman that has literally listed out a lot of people that have been committing crime in America. See, I'm not saying that black people are not committing crime, or I'm not saying that black people have never committed crime in America. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying for a white man to have the audacity, the effrontery, the temerity, and the guts to pick up his mic and come here talking about black people commit more crime is absurd to me. I can't take that as a black person. I can't take that as someone that has literally gone deep into American history. I can't just sit and watch that kind of videos fly, because the more they keep passing wrong information, the more people keep diving into this wrong information, and the more they keep setting the whole world backward. The more. Let's get it clear. Black people commit crime in America, yes, but white folks commit more of the crime in America. You can go do your Google, do your research, do every single thing you want to do to see. You understand? Anyways, let's just get, just from 2025, let's talk about some, just few, I'm not saying all, let's talk about few people that literally committed some crimes. Let's have the examples of people. Now we have the major violence crime case, which is the major one, which is Lawrence Reed, which was charged with terrorism and violent assault after allegedly setting a woman on FIRE on a Chicago train. On a Chicago train. Now let's talk about the mass pursuing suspect in Mississippi, 2025. We have Tavion L. Powell that was charged with capital. Do you get? Now, let's talk about William Brandt that was charged with capital as well. Let's talk about Morgan Lactimore, that was charged with capital. Let's talk about Latoya A. Powell, that was charged with attempted. Let's talk about Torgenia Martins, that was charged with capital. Do you get my point? And you have to sit down there and tell me black people are the problem? You have to sit down there, you're very sure that black people are the problem? I can tell you for a fact, Americans will not thrive if not for black people. You people have forgotten the struggles of black Americans. All these ones I'm mentioning is just in 2025, not in 2026, not the ones that they've done that has passed. Let's talk about the jailbreak and violence offenders in New Orleans in 2025, where we have Derrick Gloves, convicted of second-degree. We have Jamai Donald, where he was charged with and weapon offenses. Let's talk about Leontine, that was charged with second-degree. Hey, God. Let's talk about Corel Boyd, that was charged with second-degree as well. Let's talk about Gray Price, that was charged with attempted and assaults. Then are we going to be talking about the large-scale federal crime in 2025, where in Operation Sontara Shield, where we have 244 suspects that were arrested for child exploitation crime. Like, see, if we want to keep calling names, we'll just keep calling over and over and over again without stopping. So, it is okay if you literally do not know what to say and then you choose to keep quiet than coming to rub it and assuming that black people are your problem. Black people were never your problem. You are the problem of yourself. Every single thing that is befalling you today, you caused it. You wanted it. Black people were never the problem. Black people were never the issue. Black people were never the cause. Black people were never involved in anything. I think the earlier a lot of white folks realize, the better. And this is why I cannot see any white folks do videos of truth, spilling out tea, like we whites are the problem. And I will not bring it. I'll bring it. Check most of the videos that I've been bringing here of black people intimidating, white people intimidating black people, following them in stores, following them in their road, following them in their cars, asking them who they are, do they belong in this environment? See, it's a whole lot to deal with in America when you are a black person, honestly. And disclaimers, credit belongs to the original creators. And I am not saying, I'll repeat myself, that black people do not commit crime. Black people do commit crime. But majority of people that commit crime, name them, East and South, they are majorly coming from the white race. So white folks, learn to teach your children how to behave. Learn to teach your children what crime is all about. Learn to educate them and show them good parts so that they don't come up here and disgrace or embarrass you. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. And for now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.